Hey everyone, my name is Wedge and welcome back to our continuing coverage of Battle for Zendikar spoilers. This is the second spoiler video of the day, so if you missed the first one, boom, there it is, so convenient. Anyways, so many cards were revealed today we had to make two videos. You're about to see some multicolor and land goodness. Hope you're ready to get your socks knocked off, if you're wearing socks. If not, I'll knock something off, whatever, you get it. Also, hitting that like button, yeah, it makes me feel special and wanted and not lonely, so, thanks. Angelic Captain is 3 colorless, 1 red, and 1 white for a 4/3 angel ally with flying. Whenever it attacks, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each other attacking ally. First thing, angel ally. Cool creature pairing. Second, this isn't going to help your ally deck that much. It drops on turn 5 and can't swing until turn 6, and you need to hope you have enough of a board to make it worth it. Now, it isn't the right colors for the Mardu Allies deck, so you could do something like Angel into March from the Tomb and hope to attack that next turn, but it's still clunky. I think if you're going Allies, you might want to cut this card out just so you're faster. It sucks, but I'm not sure this makes it. Still great for limited though, because, flying. Dust Stalker is 2 colorless, 1 black, and 1 red for a 5/3 Eldrazi with Devoid and Haste. At the beginning of each end step, if you control no other colorless creatures, return the Stalker to its owner's hand. I really like this card. It dodges so much removal. Ruinous Path if it gets returned, Doomblade, Ultimate Price. Now true, cards like Sprinting Warbrute don't see play, but this is a little cheaper for the same power. It has Pseudo Dash, I suppose, but if you're running this, you're probably running other colorless creatures. I think it's a bit too clunky for the top end of an aggressive build, and if we see something like Lightning Strike in the format again, this card becomes terrible. Not sure what to think right now about it. As if Battle for Zendikar didn't already have very cool lands, we were just introduced to a whole new cycle of common spell lands. Pretty sure you're gonna freak out. They all come into play tapped, and they all tap to add 1 color of their chosen color to your mana pool. When Sandstone Bridge enters the battlefield, target creature gets +1/+1 and gains Vigilance until end of turn. When Skyline Cascade enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls does an untap during its controller's next untap step. My god, brutal. When Mortuary Mire enters the battlefield, you may put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. Okay, wait, hold up, what? Calling all dredge players. Isn't this exactly what you want? That ability's disgusting. You just tap deck a creature on this random land. What? Okay, we need to keep moving on. When Looming Spires enters the battlefield, target creature gets +1/+1 and gains first strike until end of turn. Very red, very aggressive, definitely going in mono red and standard, obviously. Lastly, when Fertile Thicket enters the battlefield, you may look at the top 5 cards of your library. If you do, reveal up to 1 basic land card from among them, then put that card on the top of your library and the rest on the bottom in any order. This may not seem interesting to you, but in a way, it's the best out of the cycle. The white and red lands require a creature, the blue land requires your opponent has a creature, and the black one forces you to have a creature in your yard. This one's always relevant, but best in the early game. If you look at an opening hand with this and 1 other land, you can probably keep it knowing you're about to go 5 cards deep for more land. Knowledge is power, and the Thicket gives you that. When I look at the entire cycle of lands here, I really like them all for limited, of course, but Mortuary Mire, Looming Spires, and Fertile Thicket could see constructed play. The Mire and Spires definitely. Mire is meant for dredge or really any standard deck that loves graveyards. Pretty much whatever is running Tassiger at the moment. Also a land that brings back Siege Rhino, I'm sure Obzan players will take that. The Spires is just super aggressive. We've seen red lands with triggers like this before, they were good. Smoldering Spires was great, and that isn't nearly as aggressive as this. I'm very happy with this cycle, unnaturally happy, these are going to be awesome. Ally Encampment is a non-basic land card. You can tap it to add 1 colorless to your mana pool. You can also tap it to add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool as long as you use it to cast only ally spells. Lastly, you can pay 1, tap it, and sacrifice it to return target ally you control to its owner's hand. This card is perfectly fine. It helps your fixing in the ally deck, which is exactly what you want since we have no idea how many colors that strategy is going to run, at least 3 most likely. This will function as one of the best lands in that deck, for sure. The sacrifice ability is a nice addition, but at that point it's just icing on the cake. No real drawback on that mana fixing tap ability is just so good. No reason not to run this in allies, so enjoy. Sanctum of Ogin is a non-basic land card. You can tap it to add 1 colorless to your mana pool. Whenever you cast a colorless spell with converted mana cost 7 or greater, you may sacrifice the Sanctum. If you do, search your library for a colorless creature card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. This is interesting. Search for a colorless creature card means you can't play Ogin to fetch for another Ogin, which would be super cool, but the card is fine as is. Lets you tutor for a giant Eldrazi when you play, a giant Eldrazi. I do think it's funny that this synergizes with Ogin himself, and Ogin was the one trying to imprison the Eldrazi in the first place. I kinda really like that. This card certainly alludes to a shift in story, I think. I'll keep an eye out. Spawning Bed is a non-basic land card. You can tap it to add 1 colorless to your mana pool. You can also pay 6, tap it and sacrifice it to put 3 1/1 Eldrazi Scion tokens onto the battlefield. This may not seem great, but I think it's awesome. An Eldrazi version of Foundry of the Consoles, this makes Perforos Commander players happy. Also, any colorless Commander player should be pumped. While the ability is expensive and a bit annoying to activate, it gives you something to do with your mana and ramps you at the same time. Using your mana efficiently every turn is something you should strive to do. The Spawning Bed is a way to do that effectively, very effectively. Eldrazi tokens are definitely valuable. Don't underestimate this card, I like it a lot. This set is so weird, right? Every card in this is just bizarre, peculiar, abnormal. I love it. It's like no other set we've ever seen. You have to let me know which cards you're excited to play with. Today we saw a lot of great stuff, so there has to be something you want. For me, I'm a simple guy. I like the common spell land cycle. I'm easy to please, what can I say? Leave your thoughts in the comments and we'll talk about it. As always, subscribe for the latest and most reliable Battle for Zendikar spoiler information you could ever need. This is the Mana Source. I'm Wedge. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
What?